In this video, we are going over some advice for new soccer players, essentially 10 mistakes new footballers need to avoid. Now, if you are a beginner or new player, this will be perfect for you. But even if you're a more seasoned player, some of these tips are definitely going to help you become better. What's up, guys? It's Dave here from SimplySoccer, where we are helping you to improve your game and stand out on the pitch. And on this channel, we release daily soccer tip, technique, and training videos. So if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. So I wanted to make this video for you new players out there, or you beginners, or guys just taking up the game, so that you can get a head start on everyone else that's beginning and get ahead of the pack and learn quickly. So the first mistake I see new players making is not focusing on the fundamentals. Coming immediately into football, you get really excited about watching the professional game, watching the cool volleys, the shots, the bicycle kicks maybe, and of course you want to be able to do those things. Now, of course, doing those things are fun, but you really want to be focusing on the fundamentals of the sport. The better you get at the fundamentals, the better you're going to get at those more fancy things you want to do. So you need to get good at the fundamentals of passing, dribbling, ball control, shooting, and so on if you want to start improving quickly. If you start focusing on all these fancy things, trying to do rainbows and juggling tricks and things of that nature, you're not going to improve that quickly. In fact, you'll probably stagnate. So make sure at first you are focusing on building up those fundamentals. Second mistake I see, and something that kind of ties into the last, is not focusing enough on technique. Here's the thing, if you can build good technique early on, it won't hinder you later on. But if you build bad technique early on, it's going to be so hard to fix it as you become a more experienced player. For example, if you don't learn how to pass the ball properly and you go years doing it incorrectly, it's going to be very hard to reverse that habit. Okay, so the third mistake I see is players who are just starting out biting off more than they can chew. Now, what this means is you pile more on your plate than you could possibly ever eat. So maybe you're doing way too much practice and it's causing you to give up. Maybe you're trying techniques that just aren't at your level yet. Don't worry if you can't do certain things yet. Every single player, the ones you watch on a professional level or anybody you see within your immediate friend group who plays, had to start at the basics and had to start at the beginning. Make sure you're not piling too much on your plate, because if you do, you'll become overwhelmed and you're more likely to give up if that's the case. Okay, so number 4 is actually kind of contradicting number 3, but it's not challenging yourself enough. Now, there's a difference between challenging yourself and biting off more than you can chew. You should always be looking to be challenging yourself a little bit, because if you're doing things the same way every single time, you're actually not growing whatsoever. Now, of course, in the beginning, you're going to be doing the bare basics of everything, but eventually you're going to have to start challenging yourself more and more and more. That's how you're going to grow and become a better player. Now, there's a happy middle ground here. You don't want to challenge yourself too much, like I said, so that you're biting off more than you can chew, but if you don't challenge yourself at all, you're not growing. You want that happy middle where it's challenging, but you're able to do it. So maybe you're making a few mistakes, but ultimately you are able to do it. If you're, challenging yourself to the point where you're failing every time, that's too much. And if you're not challenging yourself to the point where you can do it perfectly every time, that's not enough of a challenge. So make it so each drill you do, you're making a few mistakes. Each practice you do, you're making a few mistakes, but ultimately you're still able to follow through with the training. Number 5 is a big one and a huge mistake I see new players making, and it's not investing in themselves. And this kind of goes in 2 ways. Number 1 is not investing their money in order to improve more quickly, and number 2 is not investing enough time in this. Let's, be very blunt. You need to allocate time to getting better if that's your goal. And if you're a new player, you need to allocate quite a bit of time if you want to improve quickly. So make sure you are spending time each and every day to practice. Make sure you're scheduling it out so you can work on different things. Now, honestly, the best way you can do that is to invest in yourself by buying a training course or a paid program online, which there are many of. And by doing this, this is going to cut your learning curve in half, because someone who's already experienced in the sport is going to basically have a routine you can follow, a schedule you can follow, and all you really need to do is follow that schedule and you'll see improvements. Now, I have one I've linked in the description, the one I actually use myself, called Train Effective, and I even have a discount coupon you can use if you want that one. But whether you get that one or another one, just invest in yourself and you will get better so much faster. I mean, think about it. You can can either buy the next video game or, you know, the next trendy clothes or whatever, or you can spend the same amount of money on a program that's actually going to help you improve. The choice is yours. Number 6, biggest mistake I see new players making, new people to football, is losing their consistency. Now, this is not something just that I can attribute to new players. This happens to experienced players as well, where they lose their consistency. But essentially, if you want to get better, you need consistency. Consistency with your practices, your eating schedule, all of these things, because if you lose it and you start falling behind, you're going to ruin your momentum. You know, if you practice every single day, you're going to see improvements. But if you practice one day and then skip a few days and then practice another day and skip a few days, you're going to progress maybe very slowly, if at all. Make sure you're maintaining your consistency, because if you're not, you'll find you're not making improvements, and again, you're going to be more likely to give up. Number 7 is not joining a team. A lot of beginners, I think, are very scared to join a team because they've never been on one and they don't think they're good enough. But there are so many teams you can join. I'm not talking about you have to join a travel team or a club team right away. You can just get involved in a recreational team or a men's league or something of that nature. But the biggest thing is to be in that team environment and getting used to playing full-sized matches, because there are things you're going to learn while playing in these matches that you can't learn individually. So if you're not on a team, seek out a team, even if it's a, you know, like a fun league, it doesn't matter what it is, and join that team. And as you get better, you can start to join more serious teams, but get yourself on a team, because you will learn things there that you won't learn anywhere else. Number 8 is neglecting the mental side of the game. Now, this is not just an issue for newer players, it's an issue for experienced players as well. But as a new player, you need to understand the importance of not just the physical skills, but also the mental attributes of your game. Look, you can train the physical skills all you want, but if you're not confident or have self-belief, you're never going to actually be able to do them in matches. So make sure, if you are a new player, that you are focusing on building confidence, your self-esteem, and other areas that are going to help your game, and your soccer IQ, which we'll get into in a bit, because these are just as important as the physical skills, and you want to make sure you're improving both. So speaking of the mental side, number 9 is doubting yourself. One thing I find with a lot of new players, especially that comment on this channel, is they doubt themselves because they're new players. They ask me, will I ever become good? Will I ever be able to play at a high level? Things of this nature. And I can understand that you're having those thoughts because you're brand new, and this is all of this is brand new to you. So you're having some doubts. Look, if you keep at it, you keep practicing, you absolutely can become better and play at a high level. At first, it's not going to seem that way because it seems so far away. But if you stick with it and don't doubt yourself, you absolutely can. Now, doubt is going to creep up in your mind probably quite a bit, and you need to just fight it and resist it and not allow it to take you over and make you give up. You know, whenever we were kids and we had this, we always had moments where we could give up, or anyone who was new to the game had moments where they could have given up because they weren't able to do something yet. But if you stick with it, you will reap the rewards. So you are probably going to feel some level of doubt, but just have faith in yourself. Have faith in the process that if you keep practicing, if you're in a system, if you've bought a program, that it will work, and just keep going from there. And I promise you, you will see improvements. Okay, and finally, the last mistake I see new players doing is not improving their soccer IQ. Now, what this means is when you're a beginning player, you may have already been immersed in the soccer world. You may have watched it, you may have played FIFA and went, why don't I start playing soccer? Why don't I start playing football? Because it looks fun. It looks like something I would enjoy. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy playing FIFA. Perhaps this will be something for me. One thing you also want to make sure you're doing is improving your soccer IQ. And in fact, the faster you can improve this area, the better at the game you're going to become, because of your understanding of the game will be better. Now, if you're already watching matches, you're ahead of the game because you probably understand some things because you've been watching professional level matches. If you have not, start getting on that. Start watching matches frequently. Start watching videos like this and other YouTube channels that are going to help you understand the game a lot more. Start watching tactical analysis videos, things of this nature, because the higher you can get your soccer IQ, the better you're going to be once your physical skills are up to snuff. You know, some of the best players are the ones that don't necessarily have the best skills or aren't the most flashy players, or even score the most goals. They're the players that are able to control the match. They're able to see things happen because they have a high soccer IQ. So make sure you don't neglect this area. All right, guys, so that's just some advice for new soccer players, but I know it will help some of you experienced guys as well. Just avoid these 10 mistakes and do the other things I mentioned if you want to improve quickly. Again, this is about improving quickly as a new player, and if you do these things, it will definitely help your learning curve and help you learn faster. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Please like and share this video. That's what helps the channel to grow, and if you want to support the channel, that's one of the best ways to do so. Make sure you subscribe if you are new to Simply Soccer. As I said earlier, we release videos every single day to help you become better. I will put 2 videos up on the screen now so you can continue to watch and learn and become a better footballer. And I will see you in the next video.